got some problems that you wanna solve? Then let's chat. That job getting on your nerves? Then let's chat. Girl, you know I can relate, so let's chat. Cause I'ma tell you what the bottom line is.
I'ma tell you what the bottom line is. I'ma tell you what the bottom line is. I'ma tell you what the bottom.
It's your girl Cece. I'm your hostess with the mostest.
I'ma tell you what the bottom line is.
Hey, you guys, welcome to another episode of The Bottom Line Is. It's your girl Cece, and I am here today with my girl all the way from the West Coast, Candace, aka Candy, aka Cupcake Girl. And so let me just let you all know, because we met in 2020, and that has been her name since I met her. So everybody knows her as Cupcake Girl. They don't know her as Candace. It's just Cupcake Girl. And the reason for that is because she has her own cupcake and cake business. And I fell in love with her, like, no joke, when I had that cupcake. I said, can you add more icing and some like cookie crumbs on top? So it was, she had me. So we still trying to figure out how she can ship me some cupcakes from the West Coast to the East Coast.
It's gonna happen.
We working on it. So if y'all got ideas on how she can do that, just go ahead and put that in the comments, because we're trying to figure it out. Because I'm telling you, homemade, it's the best thing you ever had in your life. Like, I was going in there every other day trying to get a cupcake because my job was getting on my nerves. So
that cupcake was her saving grace at the end of the day.
It really did. And every time I go
back, add extra frosting, extra.
That's right. And every time I go back to Vegas, I'm like, you got some cake?
Which I have to always have on deck when she comes to visit.
It's for sure. It just comes along. But she makes sure I'm hooked up and got some cupcakes when I head back. So it's all good. It's much appreciated. But besides, loving those cupcakes, the other things that we have in common is we got a lot of issues with our exes. And that's one of the reasons how our personal relationship really came to be, because we could vent to each other without judgment, which is how a friendship is supposed to be. Being able to just talk about how you feel. Sometimes you don't even have to give advice to a person. A person just sometimes want to be heard, and, furthermore, this episode being about our exes and why are they exes for a reason. I know we are put in those relationships to learn. I mean, I could bypass that though, for real, guys. But yes, you could have just wrote it down on a paper what I was supposed to learn, but nonetheless. So you all know, I talked about it on my intro episode, that my longest relationship was that of 6 years, and so I don't miss that person at all. And we're not going to be looking back, but it definitely prepared me and will prepare me, because I haven't really had a relationship since then, but I definitely know to pay attention to some red flags. So before we kind of get really into it, I want to give Candace, aka Cupcake Girl, to kind of give her backstory, since you all already heard mine, but now you need to hear hers. So Candace.
All right, well, let's get into it. So my longest relationship was actually with my ex-husband. I won't say his name. It's not necessary. But, when you are with someone, you have to learn that person, obviously, right? But even being with someone for as long as I still to this day am finding out things that I didn't even know about this person. Now, I'm going to start off by saying he is not a bad guy, but people go through things and they do what they do for whatever reason that they do it. And I can't stop somebody from doing it. But anyway, so, we met in Georgia. He was in the military, and I mean, it was a nice start to our relationship. But as time went on, things started coming up. I won't get too detailed, but things started coming up where things just did not sit right with me, right? So I don't go out and I don't go through people's phones or anything like that, but it's just certain things where you go, like, a woman's intuition is for real. So y'all women out there, if you feeling something, you ain't crazy. It's for real. But you
trust your gut.
You trust your gut. But the way I do it, I don't go right out and accuse anybody of doing anything unless I have proof. And then still, the way you approach it, you have to kind of be smart about that as well. But anyway, like certain things started to come up, just along the lines of like unfaithfulness. Let's just put it like that. Um, of course, we had our good days, our bad days, but let me just talk about the more recent timeline where it started to really come to an end.
Well, before you get into that, I think it's important to highlight. So, how old were you when you met him?
I was 23,
and how long did you all date before you got married?
Okay, I'll tell you that story. So we met in Georgia, like I said. He was in the military. So we met in October of 2010. Okay. And we didn't really talk. I was seeing someone else at the time, and he knew that. I let him know. So it wasn't no I'm calling him on the side while I'm with this person. It was nothing like that. I didn't really start talking to him until that other relationship was done. Mm-hmm. And so we really started talking in November. He deployed to Afghanistan in December and was deployed for 7 months. Okay. So this is 7 months where it's a long distance relationship, right? So that's a huge thing. Not everybody can do that, especially not right away, where you are communicating through video.
Right.
You are stressing out because if he goes on a mission, you don't know if he's coming back or not.
Right.
And then sending the care packages and things like that. It's a huge commitment. Like, it's a big deal. So we were together 7 months during that. And then he came back, and it was July when he came back. And by the time October was here, we were already getting married. So we weren't even together.
I didn't even know all that.
Oh, yeah, girl. So we were shy by 1 month to being together for a year. But yeah, we got married in less than a year. Which, I mean, to me, that didn't determine anything. Like, that didn't determine if our relationship was going to work or not. Because I know people that have been together with somebody for 10 years. They aren't married. They still go through the same issues or whatever. But yeah, we did get married pretty quickly, though.
But I feel like that's important to like pause on, because I feel like when I was younger, people used to say, oh, well, after 6 months, if it's right and you should be getting engaged and things like that. I mean, of course, that never happened with me, but I would hear that, I feel like, in the media and things of that nature. And so I'm just like, why are we putting a number on it? Just let it happen fluidly.
Just let it happen. Yeah.
I mean, don't put it, because I feel like when you put pressure on it, then you end up doing it for the wrong reason. Now, sometimes it works out for people. Don't get us wrong. But how much do you know the person? Like, do you know their whole story? Because you only know what people want to tell you.
That's true. But you know what? I still think that you could be with somebody. You can be in a relationship, like boyfriend, girlfriend relationship, or whatever you want to call it. You can be in that relationship for years and still not really know who this person is. Because they're only going, like you said, they're only going to show you what they want you to see. They're only going to show other people what they want them to see because they know how to play that game. Like, being with him for 12 years and then having to explain to like his family, for example, something's not right. Like, I've been with this man for 12 years, living with him, kid together, all these things, seeing different versions, going through different things. And you tell his friends and family something's not right. Like, I don't think he's okay. And then, they get on the phone with him. Well, he sounds okay. He said he's okay. But I'm looking like I'm in it. I'm in it with him. So
you're laying right next to him. You know
exactly
everything that's going on. They're not there with him. I mean, they live in another state, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. But it was like, okay, so they're out of the 12 years. Like I said, I kind of almost feel like I was with a completely different person than what I'm from basically out through us not being together. I can't honestly say I fully know who this person was.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like so many stories that were told. Turns out they were never true. Things like that. And not necessarily even having anything to do with me, but just in general, overall, like you tell somebody what you want them to believe to make yourself look whatever kind of way. I don't know if it's sympathy. I don't know if you just want to look like you just that person, that man, that girl, but you're going to tell whoever a certain story in order for them to see you in a certain way. And, you know, that's why I said, like, honestly, every relationship is different. The timeline might be quick where you know instantly this is the person I want to marry. This is the one. And then you have those where it is like you miss the red flags because you're so caught up in all the whatever the honeymoon phase.
The honeymoon phase. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yep. If you get caught up, so any red flags that might exist, you're going to not even recognize them because you're so excited about the feeling of somebody loving you, liking you, wanting to be with you, that you're just going to dismiss all of that.
No, that's true. And it reminded me while you were talking, I haven't per se watched it, but it's a I think it's a TikTok series, 50 part or something. You probably like who the F did I marry and all this.
Right.
I mean, you probably could do a part 2, you know.
I couldn't even listen. That was a lot. Like I think I started the introduction of it and then I'm like, okay, this is too much. It's taking too long. I know somebody has like a summarized version of it out there. I need that version.
If you got that version, go ahead and put that in the comments for us.
I know.
I don't have time for no 50 parts. I think I watched snippets that I've seen on my For You page. And that was it. But I mean, you get it. You get the issue, you know, after the first episode. I don't need fix. The bottom line is she was lied to, and thank God that's essentially it.
Right, for real. But you know, I can't say one thing that I did notice, like after the pandemic and everything, like a lot of different things, like about narcissists. Everybody's saying, "Oh, the narcissist this, narcissist that," like that all started coming out. So I don't know if everybody just kind of like snapped out of something at the same time, or you know, people just started revealing who they really were. But even to this day, like you see it a lot where you have someone that may either be a narcissist or they might have narcissistic tendencies where they're not necessarily a narcissist, but they, you know, they're right there.
That's like, I swear when COVID hit, it took a layer off of people.
Oh, something for real, because it's crazy. Even meeting new people, not necessarily to date them, but meeting new people, it's like you would just say whatever. And thank God, like people started revealing their red flags very early, or I'm just seeing them faster, you know, so I didn't have to put up with any of that. Because after being married 12 years, I tell you what, you are going to make sure, at least if you are in a healthy mindset, you're going to make sure you don't ever go through that again.
Right. No, that's that is for sure. So what was it that made him become an ex? Like, what was the icing on the cake for you, so to speak?
Well, all of it started to come, like when we opened that bakery, that was one thing, you know, and I decided that it was best if we close it because the location where it was at, it just wasn't making the money that we needed to make. And it's fine to make decisions that are needed in order to keep your business healthy. And I kind of feel like maybe that like triggered something. That plus him being stressed at work, we are constantly arguing all of the time.
Right.
Also on how to raise our kid, because you know you have one person that was brought up in a more strict household, so his mindset is more disciplinary. Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter how the child thinks whatsoever, you're just going to discipline them in the way you know. Where for me is know your child. If you know they need this in order to do this, do like figure out a creative way to parent at the end of the day.
Some
But it
kind
was a lot of
and meet in the middle with that.
right, exactly. So it was a lot of disagreements because it's like either it was going to be how he wanted it or it didn't matter. Like he's not going to try to do it my way. Just a lot of arguing, coming home. It almost felt like roommates living together, you know, like no time to do anything, but also like before it even got to that point, I had expressed how unhappy, like that I wasn't happy. I'm not happy. And then we had a conversation about how to get back on track. What is it that I need from you and you need from me so we can get back on track? And I started doing the things that he needed. But when it came to me, I mean, how hard is it to buy flowers? How hard is it to buy flowers? But you know, you got money to go get your hair twisted, whatever, car washed. You got money for that, but you can't buy your wife flowers. Like really? And then just again, like, you know, you kind of get this feeling of course when somebody is not doing right by you.
Right.
And not only that, they also start to not give you as much attention. So you know it's going somewhere else. At least for me, I know it's going somewhere else. If you're not giving me a certain amount of attention that you're normally giving me, you're giving it to somebody else. So you can't focus. Like you can't be on both. But it just became where it just our disagreements, like we couldn't figure out how to get it back on track.
Now,
And
did you all go to therapy?
no. So it was brought up. It was brought up and I found someone, but it never happened. But I'm a big believer of everything happens for a reason. And for me, the universe was pulling me. It was pulling me out of that relationship. It's like, girl, you're not happy. Get out. Like I'm trying to pull you out. Like let it go. And obviously, 12 years is a long time. We had a kid together. You know, so it wasn't right away where it just okay, we're done. Like it wasn't just said, okay, we're done. We're not nothing else. Whatever. You go through that toxic end of a relationship, kind of back and forth, like I don't want to be with you, but I don't want to not be with you type of situation. So it was that for a while, but then it's like you kind of snap out of it at some point, and then it's like, oh wow, like that's when you start to see all the things that are really wrong. And it's like, yeah, I would never.
Yeah, it's like that out of body experience. Like you said, something just clicked. And I know that's what clicked for me one day. It was just like, do I feel like dealing with this for the rest of my life? I don't think so, but I do not think so. Time to make a change.
Right.
Quick.
But I'm going to say this for you, like being the person on the outside looking at, what I didn't like about that's because he was cool at first. I mean, yeah, of course, at the beginning.
Oh, you met him too. So
yeah exactly. So, but as soon as somebody the person that you're with, the person that's supposed to make you feel loved, safe, cared for, starts making you feel like you're being unfaithful, like that whole, where you feel like you have to, I gotta tell him where I am. I gotta record that I'm in the house in order to reassure him that I'm not lying or sneaking around. Like when your person starts to make it feel like you're the one that can't be trusted, that's when it's just time to go. That's when it's time to let it go, because no relationship, you should not have to act like you are your partner's teenage child that got in trouble and got put on punishment and can only go from A to B, and you have to know exactly where they are to know that they're not lying and doing the thing that they got in trouble for. Like, your partner should not make you feel like that at all.
No, because there's some level of trust that needs to occur there. And we could not have a conversation without that issue really coming up. And it was just, enough was enough. And I don't know how I could have gotten over that, because for him it was a 2 week on, 2 week off. I mean, he was good and normal, I'll say. And the next 2 weeks it was like clockwork. And I would tell him that, like, oh, it must be time for you to fit. Because he would go right back to it. I'm like, where did you get your information from? How does that even make sense? I'm like, 2 plus 2 is 4 in my book, but it's adding up to like 10 in yours. I don't understand. I'm not understanding. Make it make sense, because maybe my math is different than yours.
I don't know. It doesn't. But that's when they always give away that they're the ones that are doing wrong, because that's a lot of energy to put in.
Yep.
Oh, I gotta make her feel bad, so that way she's not looking into what I'm doing over here.
Right. I know. And that's what everybody kept telling me. Well, he must be cheating on you if he's accusing you of cheating. But I know that and I would say that to this day, I still don't feel like that was the case. So I disagree with that. But I probably, if I was on the outside looking in, probably would have said that to myself too, because that's just the thing. But I know he wasn't. And it was just, it's mental, just like you were saying, when they get stressed out, they want to take it out on the person that's closest to them. And I'm like, I have been trying to help you. I'm not here to harm you or make your life worse. I'm here to be a teammate, to be a partner,
exactly.
help you. So if you don't want that,
exactly.
Because I had no problem with checking.
Right.
I've had other relationships where I felt, really terrible that I lost my person at that time. But I did not feel that way with this. And plus, because we had broken up, I don't even know how many times.
Yeah, because it's not for you. It's like you said, it's that lesson. I mean, of course, you don't want to go through that lesson, obviously. I know I don't. I even, to be honest with you, after Chris and I got a divorce, and after I'm not a dater. I am not a casual dater, because I don't see the point of it. I don't need to look that bad. By the way, I found my person. Let's just put that in there real quick.
I was going to close that. Go ahead, girl.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. But I'm not a casual dater. I also did not meet him by dating. Like, I didn't get on a dating app or anything like that, just because not only am I not, it's not that serious. I don't need to be with somebody that much in order to get on a dating app. But just hearing how my friends, like some of my friends, their experiences, I'm like, I'm not even about to waste my time. I'm not about to do it, because it's not worth it. And just, some of the guys that try to talk to me, there's no effort. Like, it's almost like nobody knows how to treat a person. It's so weird, like the courting a girl to get them, actually asking a girl out on a date. That doesn't happen anymore. It's like, it's almost like you see more women asking men out these days. And for me, I'm not asking no men out.
No,
I will not ask a man out.
I've been seeing that too. Women getting down. No, I am not. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely not. I mean, to each his own, but I don't believe I'm not going to shoot my shot. Mm-hmm. I'm not. I didn't have to with my boyfriend now. Like, I did not have to shoot my shot. He did it right. And he's still doing it right. Mm-hmm. But what I noticed was, it's like the men want to be chased.
Yeah.
I'm not chasing no man.
I'm not.
I'm the princess.
I'm trying to figure out, did it change when COVID happened or something? Like, again, is that what happened with the universe?
How many of y'all got that shot in the boosters? Because something ain't right. Something is not right. It is crazy. Like, and You should not have to go through your relationship telling your man how to treat you. Like, there's no point. Like, that is just too much energy to be putting into something that shouldn't have to have that much energy.